Ladies and gentlemen, I am back. I gotta tell you, boy, living in the Philippines is way harder, way harder than you people can comprehend. The quality of the internet that we get here is terrible. The fact that we want to move in on somebody's e-begging for a future wife and we were just getting started, it's almost as if the internet, not YouTube, because the internet just went offline, just the whole internet. Like it just stopped. We didn't have a blackout, but the internet stopped. As soon as we were moving in on Mophead's e-begging for a future ex-wife, Jack Thompson has donated his more. Mr. Willis, thank you very much, Mr. Willis. I did see the super chat from Mr. Willis. We'll give you a shout out too. Jack Thompson was way over $150 in the last live stream. Jack Thompson, that credit card is working just about right where it should be. That's what everybody should be doing right now. They should be testing out. Because of the lockdown, a lot of people aren't using their credit cards, and this is the perfect opportunity to test the metal of your credit card. I'm here to help like the government. I want you guys to make sure your credit cards work. We're going to vote on whether or not Mophead is an e-beggar for a future ex-wife that's going to take him to the cleaners. And we're going to vote on whether or not Mophead is going to get 1,000 subscribers. Let's vote on that. I say no. Flying Circus is back. Flying Circus knows how hard it is to gain a subscriber base after about the 300 or 400 mark in the YouTube Philippines vlogging genre. Almost impossible. And if you're doing it working with hate, that didn't work out for too many people. I could name a half a dozen channels. But right now we're going to move in on Mophead's e-begging for a future ex-wife. So where we were. Now, Warren H., we're back, baby. The flea. Warren said the flea that runs the Philippines internet took a crap. You know what happened is the internet just went off. No blackout, just the internet went off. So we are going to talk about Mophead's e-begging for a future ex-wife. But what we got to do is show Mophead how it's done. To be a proper simp. And that's what you have become, a simp. For abusing everybody that has a beautiful, wonderful relationship with their wife or girlfriend and then stating otherwise. And do you really think any normal, rational woman, especially Filipino, is going to watch that shit you produce on this so-called channel that you have? Your channel is nothing but a bunch of nonsense, hate, disregard for people's feelings and or emotions, and a total zero when it comes to social media appreciation. Nobody appreciates your videos. They laugh at you. You have the worst pieces of garbage on YouTube coming to your channel saying, good job, good job. Those people are garbage. Garbage, I say, garbage. You got people that come to your channel, you don't know who they are, you don't know what they do for a living, you don't know if it's a troll account, and they're telling you, good job. They're saying it's a good job because they're laughing at your worthless uploads. But if you're going to be a simp, let me show you how it's done, because I read a book years ago when I lived in Michigan from 1988 to 1991. I spent about 5-6 months in Michigan. In the winter in New York, there was no work. So I went to Michigan to do some snowmobiling and just hanging tough with some of the guys up in Traverse City where I bought property. So what I did was I hung out with a group of guys. They were all pilots, private single-engine ultralight and private pilot licenses. And I met a guy named Bob in a bar called the Steelhead Bar, I think it was, the Steelhead Trout Bar. Just outside of Traverse City, Michigan. And we had some of the best laughs at that bar. Even though I didn't drink, we had some of the best laughs, definitely some of the best fish. And what we learned about women in that bar was amazing. So first I should tell you about Bob. So I'm standing next to this guy named Bob at a bar. I think it was the Steelhead. Something about Trout Bar. It's going back to 1980. I guess it was 1990 because that's when I bought property. But let's just talk about Bob. So I'm sitting next to this guy at the bar and I'm drinking water. And I give the bartender $1 for a glass of water and with lemon. And there's a guy, and on his elbow, he has suede patches on a flannel shirt. He has suede patches on a flannel shirt. And the suede patches, it was a very, very custom cowboy shirt with the old pearls instead of buttons, which we're going to give, by the way, we're going to give Mophead some pearls also for the facial cream. Pearl facial cream. It's a special mix. Digger makes it. Takes every couple of days. Digger got a special mix of pearl drops that he's going to give Mophead. But anyway, that's to cover up those holes in his face from eating all that Bavarian chocolate where the pimples get big and then they implode. Well, Digger has a load of pearl drops that he makes. Takes him a couple of days to make it up. He mixes it in with some clam juice and some hot chili peppers and things like that. And then he takes the load and he puts it in these little bottles. I don't have a little bottle here because I don't have any clam juice and load. And he puts it in little bottles. And when he sees somebody needs some pearl drops to fill up the holes from the Bavarian chocolate in their face, he sends them the pearl drops, the pearl cream. It's like the mother of pearl drops. So he can put it on his face so he can have more Bavarian chocolate so he can get more free pearl drops, because I think that's the way he goes, but I'm not sure about that. So sitting next to Bob, this is a true story, and I said to Bob, now my friend, whose name I'm not going to mention, but his name is Paul, but I won't mention his last name. Be easy to find Paul. Let me tell you, really easy. You Google Paul and his last name, it'd be pop right up there on the screen right away. Bang, right at the top of the page. Anyway, so Bob and I start chit-chatting about what I did that day. And Paul and I had flown, we flew a Buccaneer 2 from Traverse City to one of the lakes, and we did some cold water fishing. It was after the summer. Summer ends the first week of September. It could snow the first week of September in Traverse City, but this was around November. I remember because I was there from almost my birthday in September. I might have left the day after my birthday, and I stayed there till January 1st. So I'm talking to Bob. He said, what were you doing? I said, we went flying. He said, what were you flying? I says, Paul has a Buccaneer 2 with a 100-horse Rotax engine on it. And he goes, oh, yeah? He goes, are you a pilot? I said, well, I'm an ultralight pilot, and I have about 22 hours in the Cherokee Warrior. And I said, oh, that's nice. He goes, do you want to go flying tomorrow? And when we went flying, we got the shit beat out of us with a 7-mile-an-hour wind, where that's a lot of wind for an ultralight. And the next day was supposed to be a storm. So we're in the bar, and he goes, you want to go flying tomorrow? And I said, nah, I don't think so, because there's going to be a storm tomorrow. He goes, no problem. I'll meet you at the airport. We'll have breakfast. And if the weather's nice, we'll go. And when we got there, we had breakfast. And then he gets the phone brought over to the table, and he says, would you have my plane brought around? Well, it was a Learjet. And we got to fly to Bob's house in Texas that day. And Bob's house in Texas was, well, he said, I said, how far, like in the movies, how much further is it to your house? He goes, well, we're flying over my property now, and we'll be there in a few minutes. And then once we land, we'll have lunch, and then we're going to go take a ride. in a single engine aircraft. So it took about 3 minutes to fly from where he said to land, and then we landed. Well, who was Bob? Who exactly was Bob? Bob was the son, not the grandson, the son of Mr. Budweiser Beer. He was the son of Mr. Budweiser Beer. So how did Mr. Budweiser get so rich? Well, Mr. Budweiser, back in the 1800s, was one of the first people to use ball, B-A-L-L, ball mason jars, or with the clamp-on lids. That's how Mr. Budweiser got his start in manufacturing things. So now Mr. Budweiser didn't make beer, though. Well, he owned a big portion of Budweiser stock, but how did Mr. Budweiser make his real money? Back when Budweiser started, Bob's father offered Budweiser a contract to make his aluminum cans. That's the true story of how Bob got his millions. And from there, then he branched out to buy Budweiser stock and beer and things like that. And Ball Mason Jobs is still owned by a member of his family, or was back in 1990. So Bob was a pretty cool dude. And that's how Budweiser made their money. So every time you buy a can of Budweiser beer back in 1990, I'm not sure how much money they got, but it could have been 2 to 5 cents. Okay, it depended on the contract that they had and where the cans and equipment was being made. But that was. I met the guy who makes the cans that you drink out of. So here we go. Now we're going to talk about the simp, the biggest simp on YouTube. E-begging for a future ex-wife that's going to take him to the cleaners. No doubt about it. So here's what you got to do. First of all, every single person on YouTube has become the target of the big simp with the mop head. Okay? And he is a simp. So in my last video, I did thank the simp for his service as a rifleman in the service. And I did tell you that he has a beautiful chandelier in one of his videos. That I know beautiful chandeliers because I have 3 of those. Or very similar to that. I think that's a gorgeous chandelier. And if you're not going to be a little bit upset about this, I would like you to give me that chandelier. And in return, I will make a 3-minute video talking wonderful things about your channel. So for the cost of that beautiful 1880s, 1890s, 1905 year chandelier, I will make a 3-minute video for you. I will plug your ass all over YouTube. I mean, no pun intended. I will plug your channel all over YouTube for that chandelier or $1,100. I was gonna do it for less, but I heard the live stream that you talked about me and Warren the other day, and in order to counteract the hate that you spewed in that live stream, I had to go from 110 to 1,100 or the chandelier. So let me tell you how to be a proper simp. Okay, we know for a fact that Mr. Obama, he's a real man. Mr. Obama's a real man. We know that Digger is not a real man. So we're not going to have Mr. Obama talk to you about what real men do. What we're going to have is the simp known as Digger 2.0 talk to you. So Digger, any suggestions for the mop head? No. So Digger, the mop head says he's going to come to the Philippines, Digger. He's going to come to the Philippines, and he's looking for a future wife to have children with. So if anybody knows, would they please send information so he could meet a future ex-wife? Is he doing anything wrong? Oh, yeah, baby. He's a freaking simp. A simp like you wouldn't believe. What kind of simp is he? Simp. Big simp. Capital letters, exclamation point. Simp. Why is he a simp? Anybody knows you never, ever, ever, ever beg for a woman on social media, because what you're going to get is you're going to get a smart woman that's going to take you to the cleaners. So you know this for a fact? Oh yeah, I've been through the ringer, so to speak. I've been through the ringer a couple of times. And anything else? Yeah, lots of things, but I can't talk about that here. Okay, so Digger, you got any advice for the mop head? Yeah. You want to be a simp? Do it right, mop head. Get on your knees, mop head, and then put your hands together. Yeah, baby, and say, I looking for wife. I am a simp. I have money. I give you my money. You give me a date. I'm a simp. Then, if you screw me good, monetarily, financially, I'll know you're the woman of my dreams, because I am stupid to beg for a wife on YouTube, social media, and I deserve the monetary cleansing I get on YouTube from begging, e-begging. Anything else, Digger, get to the point. You get on your knees, mophead. Beg, tell them, I will give you all I ever earned, all my money, my heart. I will give you my heart, my money. I'm on my knees. I'm begging you, please, Filipina, with one or two or three or four or five children, please. I want you to take my money, and then for that, I'll give you all my money soon. And then, what else, Digger? Come on, get to the point. You gotta beg them to take you to the cleaners, because you already did beg them. Put it in a contract. I will get on my hands and knees. I will give you a piece of glass. And this glass is worth $2,000 now. But tomorrow, if you try to sell it, it'll be worth $300. That's the way diamonds work in the world. So, but I'll give you a piece of glass. I worked 2 months to pay for a piece of glass. Here's this glass, and I'm on my knee, bended knee. Please take all my money. Please, if anybody knows a woman out there on YouTube, I'm a simp. I'm looking for a wife. I'm looking for a woman to give me children. I'm looking to come to the Philippines. I'm begging you. I'm telling you, I'm a simp. And he is, because of all the people he spews hate about, all the people that he spews his anger and angst, and all the people. What does he come on and do the last few weeks? He expects a normal Filipino woman to watch his garbage uploads. He expects a normal Filipino woman to watch this travesty of a YouTube channel, talking about people being gay, talking about people and tickling each other's such and such. He talks about how Pinoy Ahoy is overweight, how I'm overweight. He admits that he's overweight, but he even says he's a troll. But he is the most spiteful troll, second most spiteful trolling channel on YouTube, with no content. Now, I advise Mophead to put some content in his video. He did that once. Some people think Mophead is funny. I don't find him funny at all. One time, Mophead made me laugh. So what we're going to do is, as a bonus, Digger has been saving up a load of pearl drops for you. Creamy mother of pearl drops. Digger has a whole load waiting for you. And he's going to drop that load into a little glass jar, or maybe a baggie in some dry ice, so that it stays fresh. And he's going to ship that mother of pearl load to you. And then he wants you to use that mother of pearl cream drops for either one of two reasons. One, fill in all of those holes in your face that you got from pimples from eating too much Bavarian chocolate. That's the first thing he wants you to do. And if you have any left over, he wants you to take some of those mother of pearl drops, and this will help get rid of those wrinkles on your neck. Just drop some of those mother of pearl drops along your neck in your wrinkle line, and that'll get rid of the wrinkles on your neck. That's what I've been told. I've never seen it done before, but Digger, he said he's got some of the best loads of mother of pearl drops, because on the bottom of the top of the bottom of the flat earth, they eat very high protein. They eat a lot. You don't know it, but they eat a lot of clams, a lot of oysters, a lot of seafood. They eat a lot of seafood on the bottom, and that makes the best mother of pearl cream drops for acne, and the best mother of pearl necklaces on YouTube, in the world. So people actually go down the steps to the bottom of the top of the bottom of the flat earth, and they get on their knees and they beg the other diggers. This is Digger 2.0. The other diggers, the diggers, the Lalaki and the Babai diggers, the baby diggers, they beg the baby diggers to drop the load on their acne to clear up their faces. So, and they go down there with bushels of oysters and clams, which are very high in protein, and filet mignon and T-bone steaks. They bring these T-bones and filet mignons down to the bottom of the top of the bottom of the flat earth. They bring them down the staircase, right? Then they get down to the diggers are usually waiting there like they wait in Hawaii with the wreaths they put around your neck, but the diggers don't put wreaths around your neck. They greet you with a pearl necklace. That's where I suggest the mop head goes to get his acne and fixed, and his wrinkle around the bottom of that neck, that giant wrinkle that you have. There are diggers on the bottom of the top of the bottom of the top of the bottom of the flat earth waiting to drop a pearl drop necklace, which is like in Hawaii where they give you the wreath. They're waiting to drop that on your neck. And then if there's any left over, you can cover up that acne, put it around your lips, because where you got those holes in your face from eating too much Bavarian chocolate. That's what Digger wants. Now, let me get back to my notes. I haven't done even one note. I have 7-page notes. Let me read the comments. Mr. Willis, if you're back, thank you. I saw the multiple dollar super chat that you sent me. Thank you, Mr. Willis. He is back. Mr. Willis, thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, Mr. Willis is Mr. Willis is cool. And if there's any of that pearl drop necklace left over, you could put it in your hair as like a cream. I know that you like that. Flying Circus. Okay, so we have some conversations. Let me see who's here. Jack Thompson restarting the super chat flame. Mr. Willis hit me hard in the last live stream with a major super chat. I also got I have a new Patreon member. I don't know the man's name. I never heard the man's name before. I cannot believe the entry level that this man came into on my Patreon level. I don't know if it's because I did a Real Men Go Diving on their 65th birthday, but that was the day I put the video out. That was the day I got the new Patreon subscriber. There are multiple Patreon members on my stream now. So thank you all for coming. So let me tell you about my diving adventure. So let me tell you what real men, everybody knows that real men, forget the notes, 10 pages, 7 pages of notes, and I didn't read a comment from them. Real men walk backwards. Not some sissy ass short step, out of breath, downhill, out of breath, downhill on flat surfaces. Real men walk backwards anywhere, up or downhill. And I do have a video of me walking backwards up a hill. It's in a file and I can't find. And I'm really pissed off. Hold on a minute. I'm really pissed off about that because I put the file special in a special place, and I can't remember the folder. No. Maybe in about an hour. Okay. So I put the folder in a very special place, and I can't find the folder. I actually went through my computer. I don't know. I don't remember the name because when I got home from diving, I was tired. So real men go diving on their 65th birthday. We don't sit around and eat garbage, macahilo chocolate cakes with sugar, which is macahilo, poison, garbage. We don't eat processed hamburgers. We don't eat processed meat. Real men don't do that shit. Real men do real things. Real men own tools. Dennis Adams knows for a fact that real men own tools because Dennis owns tools. Jack Thompson owns tools. He's a real man. Owns his own construction company. Scott Del Fuego, the wordsmith, he owns tools and he knows how to use them. And he appreciates any advice that people give him. He's not afraid. As smart as Scott is, and Jack and Dennis, as smart as they are willing to take advice from myself, and I'm willing to take advice from them when it comes to construction or any other endeavor in life, as I am with Warren. So my partner, who somebody's gonna pay big time when Interpol gets back with their paperwork. So that's my opinion. So what we got here is people known as the diggers, the little diggers. This is Digger 2.0. Coming out on my 65th birthday with me to go diving. He captained the boat. However, there are multiple videos of Mr. Obama. I did some things to Mr. Obama for Mr. Obama because Mr. Obama asked me to help him because he's not very dexterous when it comes to diving. So I took Mr. Obama down into 20 meters of water, and I introduced him to some coral outcrops, fire coral outcrops, which he enjoyed. He enjoys resting his little head on some fire coral because I don't know why he does. So I took Mr. Obama down into the deep because real men don't sit around their house all day going, "It's my birthday. It's my birthday. Look at all my fake friends. Look, everybody came over to my house for free food." That's why they're at your house, dude. Dudettes. On your 65th birthday, you should be celebrating, not eating chocolate cake. Real men, I don't know what real men do. I'm a real man. That's what I do. I know that a lot of real men would like to do what I do, but they just not allowed or don't have the time or don't have the money or don't have like the tools necessary to do it. Maybe somebody's 65 in January and it's 20 degrees below zero. They can't go diving. But on my birthday and Christmas, I like to go diving. So that's what I do. But real men have tools. Real men walk backwards. Now, if you can't walk backwards a kilometer, I would say start walking backwards and practice because you're going to need it one day. Backing up is going to come in very handy for you one day. You never know when you're going to, I don't know, walk ahead, right? Say that you're walking forward, right? And you see a stray dog. Now, there are a lot of stray dogs in the Philippines, and he's coming at you, the dog. Well, you can back up, you can go lateral, or you could go forward. Real men would go forward. Real men. That's what real men do. They close the space between them and the dog, which throws the dog off balance. They sacrifice their forearm, and they pull the dog's jaw apart from the bottom down, and they rip the jaw off the dog. That's what real men would do. I know you only have a very, very short window of opportunity once that dog grabs your arm. But back is another option. Let's say you could back up into behind a wall or behind a car. But backing up, I suggest you definitely learn how to back up, because one day backing up might be just as advantageous of going forward. Now, I know for a fact that Digger never went forward when confronted. I know that for a fact. I saw that not happen. So we know that Digger crawls up into a worm ball. We know that for a fact. We know that for a fact. And we know for a fact that he's not going forward. So if he's going to be moving backwards, looking for a closet, so to speak, to hang out in, because being in a closet is good protection from the reality of life. Maybe Digger can back up into a closet, and then he would be protected by his closet association. So Digger should learn how to. So if you're not able to walk backwards, I suggest you start learning how backwards and walk backwards well, or learn how to move forward, move in on whatever it is, that's the dog, whatever it is. That's your best option. But we know that never happened, ever. Never, ever, ever happened. We know the mouth is writing checks that the body can't cash, and that's okay. We know that for a fact. So Digger, let's jump together. Yeah, but ready, set, go. Digger is on the bottom of the flat earth waiting to drop a load on Mophead's social media. And Mophead, if you ask me really nice twice and give me the chandelier that's in that room that you were having dinner in, I'll make a 3-minute vlog for you. That'll be great. That would be my idea of that. But the chandelier, I'll even let you pay for the shipping because of the abuse you abused myself and Warren. And Mophead, Digger got a special load. What? Digger just ate how many? 5 dozen oysters and a dozen clams. He's preparing a load for you. This is just for the Mophead. Oh, yeah. I'm going to drop this load from on high. He could be looking up, like looking for Jesus in the sky, but pearl drops. So you're going to drop pearl drops from on high, like pennies from heaven, onto the Mophead's neckline and on the pot marks, and he's going to like it. If there's any left over, you can put some on his cheeks, like a rose-colored glasses on the... Okay, so let's go to my notes. We have Super Chat everywhere. Mr. Willis, thank you again. Let's bang the pot for Mr. Willis. Oh, doesn't this remind you of Digger when he curls up into a worm ball? Multiple colors like a rainbow. Imagine Digger turns into a rainbow-colored single ball when he gets afraid of everybody. And why rainbow, you got to ask? Is there some special affinity that he has with the rainbow itself? Some might think yes. Some would say no. Nobody would put it out of the question mark there. Nobody would do that. Nobody's that stupid. I think people know, and they're afraid to say. But I'm not afraid to say. And I want you guys to know, thank you for the Super Chat. And anybody that hasn't used their credit card because of the lockdown, that wants to try to see if their credit card works, right there, 65th birthday. Let me tell you what my 65th birthday cost, too. You hear these stories about guys eating freaking macahilla, which is poison cake. Chocolate cake with sugar icing. And they go out and spend 2,000 pesos for cake and cupcakes, right? What a stupid thing to do with your money. So let me tell you what my 65th birthday cost me. Just that day, all told, this isn't a lot because I couldn't find anybody to go diving with. It was way more than a couple of lousy donuts and cupcakes and a chocolate cake. I won't tell you what it cost me a lot of money. So when people super chat me a lot of money, I appreciate it. Plus, okay, I'll give you a rough idea. The dive trips start at 3,000 pesos. Okay. Now, if you do 2 tanks, it's a little more because you have to pay the dive shop, and of course, you have to tip the captain of the boat. Captain of the boat gets a tip. Usually, you tip them almost their day's pay in Filipino money, and your dive master that kept you alive and told you when to do your hang time and brought you to the parts of the reef that she knew about to show you a black frogfish or a giant shrimp, which was like 3-inch face on this giant shrimp. It almost looked like the mouth of a small grouper, and all the other, like a seahorse, things like that. The dive master gets her day's pay as a tip. So between breakfast and the dives, 2 dives, and the tip, and any other incidentals that's gonna cost you during the course of the day, and there were some incidentals that I won't mention, I would say you're going to spend between 6,000 and 9,000 pesos, and I'll leave that. That, of course, it would have been much more expensive had I brought a woman with me, but I don't know a woman that can even swim. And if you think that I'm going to spend a large sum of money, because even if the woman doesn't go swimming, on a woman that's going to sit on a boat and expect attention while I'm diving, I'm not going to do that. Real men don't do that shit. And that's what would be expected. You bring a woman out on the boat that doesn't swim, won't go in the water, and doesn't dive. It's not much less expensive to have her on the boat for the day. And then you got to keep them company when you're out in between dives and when you come up for your lunch or whatever you have to do. And you don't get to change the batteries in your camera. You don't get to change the settings of your camera. You don't get to enjoy lunch because you only have an hour for lunch between dives. So I did it alone. And I would say that a person going alone for your breakfast and your dinner and your dive between 6,000 and 9,000 pesos. Okay. But if you bring a woman, and you could double that. Now, when I went to Alona Beach is closed. I couldn't even go into the Henan. I could have, which I realized, and I have a video of that. I could have gone into the Henan for a 580 peso hamburger. And I wanted to, but I had made plans to go to a pizzeria. So I went to the pizzeria. That was my intention when I woke up in the morning, and I decided to make that my late lunch, early dinner, so I could do a vlog on the new pizzeria in Alona Beach. So the Henan, just to give you a little update, the Henan is open from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Opens at 8 o'clock in the morning, I think the guard said, and you can have breakfast, lunch, or dinner there, but they are just entree meals. There is no buffet, not on the weekend, not any days. There's no buffet anymore. So you're going to see an empty Henan in one of my uploads. The koi pond is still open, but 12 pools are just brown frog water with frogs and tadpoles and spider flies. So I did a live stream. So when people send me super chat and or become a member of my Patreon community, they're saying thank you for the time I spend loading videos, tagging videos, titling videos, which right now we have about 12 hours, and I'm not done yet. I still have 12 more individual 11-minute and 57-second clips to do. Each one of those clips, when I put it onto my computer. For every 1 minute of high-def GoPro video, for every 1 minute, it takes 1 hour. It's 1 hour per minute at the internet speed. So I did a 5 minute and 37-second video, and it took 5 hours and 37 minutes to load that video plus processing. I did a 1 minute and 27-second video. That's 1 hour. So that my computer is on, the electric is on, my internet is being used, my lights are on, my programs are on, my batteries for the GoPro camera that I did have a faulty battery. And let me tell you something, they're not cheap. I bought batteries, $22 for one GoPro battery, a real GoPro battery. And that battery was the one that took a dump. I put it in the camera. I did a video on the boat, and the battery went dead. Now, I only just charged them up the day before my birthday. So Super Chat and Patreon money goes to what it costs me to do uploads and blogs. Now, if you don't like that, that's okay. Nobody's being demanded. There's a guy out there, use that so-called guy. There's a guy out there. Let me talk about this guy for a minute. In Superman, Perry White said Great Caesar's ghost 10,000 times. And Great Caesar's ghost appeared. But on YouTube, there's a guy out there, and I use those words loosely, that e-begged 100,000 times. That's 10 times the stupid man salutations to Great Caesar's ghost. 100,000 times has mentioned, I don't see my screen lighting up. I'm going to block you. You should give me money. This show where I'm abusing women, more specifically a particular woman or multiple women. I'm abusing women today. Therefore, I deserve Super Chat. My screen should be lighting up because I'm semi-acting out on a live stream. I'm narrating another YouTuber's live stream and calling them the C word. That deserves Super Chat, right? No, it doesn't. But that's what this so-called man does. I'm narrating whilst I call this woman blogger a drug addict. Oh, my God. I call the woman a drug addict. That deserves Super Chat, right? No, it does not. But I called her. I said it multiple times. And because I said it, I prove it's true. Because inside my little head, my little brain, when I say something at that moment, it's true. It's called magical thinking. So when I said to you that woman was a drug addict, even though there was no mention of drugs on that woman's channel, I believe that's true. Therefore, you should send me Super Chat. And then how much? $100. Got to be worth $100 for me to narrate somebody else's video. So anyway, this so-called man has come on YouTube and mentioned Super Chat, begged for money, for gadgets, begged for money for cameras, begged for money for bigger gadgets, begged for money to go on trips to other countries, begged for money. This guy is a professional beggar. But here's the difference between a beggar and myself. I earn my money the old-fashioned way. I earn it. I put on shows, I have content, I do vlogs, and the 12 hours that I spent titling and tagging videos this week, my time is worth money. And those 12 hours, I was more than compensated from personal and private Super Chats here, and my new subscriber in my Patreon community at some phenomenal rate that I just find hard to believe. I don't know why anybody would go that high that I don't know. But my time was compensated this week because I put on. I don't beg for e-money. I don't beg for women. I wouldn't date a single Philippines woman that does blogging. And let me tell you why, mophead. You and your worthless e-begging. Here's what you should do. Like I said, get on your hands and knees and say, please, babe, I wanna give you all the money I ever worked for, all my retirement. I want to have one child with you, and then I want you to take me to the cleanest because I know that's what you're going to do. But I know in advance, so I'm begging you, please marry me. And because I'm e-begging for a woman. Are you crazy? Do you know how stupid you sound e-begging for a woman? Do you sound just as stupid as these simps? Well, but that's right, you're a simp, mophead. You sound just as stupid as these simps. Look at this is my woman. You don't own a woman. You don't own a woman. This is my girlfriend. But this isn't my woman. I didn't buy her. But simps like you who are e-begging for a woman when you get to the Philippines, you're going to learn the hard way. Living in the Philippines is not what anybody understands till you get here. I could tell you the way it really is here, but you know what? I don't like you. So I'm not going to tell you the truth. You'll have to glean through some of my other videos for the truth about what it's like living here and dating. Just get it through your head that when I tell you that you're simping out and begging for a woman, that woman is, you're going to find a woman that's going to take advantage of you like you never saw before. You're going to find a woman that understands the weaknesses in men that you possess. You are a simp. Even the concept of dating a Philippines blogger or someone that watches the Philippines blogging community, they're going to watch your videos and they're going to know you're a piece of garbage, walking, talking piece of garbage with arms and legs. They're going to know that about you. They're going to say, look at this guy's an easy target. I'll marry him. What do they have to lose? Nothing. What do they have to gain? All your worldly possessions. And you talk shit about me being stupid? You're the simp, mophead. Now, I still haven't done one note from my show. Jeez. Well, let me put, where was I? We were going to bang a pot. Jack Thompson, we're going to bang. Salamat to Mr. Willis. Thank you. Salamat to Jack Thompson. His credit card is working, baby. His credit card is working. Somebody get me the WD-40. Let's grease up the ATM machine so that Jack can go side saddle. Oh, that's a video I got coming out. Side saddle some more money for Super Chat. Not yet, though. Tomorrow. I'm going to give you a little break. So, here. I have a video coming out called Real Men and Dive Side Saddle. Let me tell you a little story, okay? This is different than anything you've ever heard me say before. And it's not sexual in nature, but it could have been. It could have been. Actually, it would be a better advertising than mophead begging for women. So what happened is there's a stainless steel ladder on the side of the dive boat. So we were for dive team 2. There was myself and Brad were 2 divers. And so Brad went with the instructor, the dive instructor, and I went with a dive master. So we were waiting for Brad and Wing, W-I-N-G, a beautiful Chinese woman that you're going to see in my video. And he has a longer bottom time than me. He's much more experienced diver, and he has better lung capacity. So we're waiting. I'm waiting for him on the side of the boat. Now, how do you find a diver? Because the current along the beach is 1 knot, 3/4 of a knot, I would say. It's a good, strong current. You can see the reef, a lot of the reef, without kicking your fins even one time when the current is moving. So how they find you when you're diving is the dive master or the instructor has a balloon. It's pink. The pink balloon was my dive master, and the yellow balloon was Wing. My dive master's name was Jos, Jos. Excellent dive master. So they put air in the balloon, and the balloon is about 3 feet long. And when it goes up to the surface, about 1.5 or 2 feet stick out of the water. So the dive boat, by the color of the balloon, knows who is where. And when that balloon goes up, it means 2 things. It means the dive from that dive master or dive instructor is over, and we are now, when the balloon surfaces the water, we are now hanging at 5 meters for 5 minutes, depending on our bottom time. The yellow balloon goes up. When you see the balloon, if you see it pop up, you know that in approximately 5 minutes, 2 people are going to surface from that balloon. So I wanted to get wet. So I went out onto the ladder of the boat, of the dive boat, on the side of the boat. Now, this is the little bit of, this would have got me more women than MOP head Z-begging, I'll tell you that. But I'm not going to, if I do say so myself. So when I was getting up on the boat, I had my camera and I was doing a video, and the captain decided, let's see how much of a man Fazio is. So he gave it, I'm thinking it was full throttle on a 40-horse motor, but the boat is very big. And we were going about, I would say, 10 miles an hour, which doesn't go much faster than that anyway. And I was on the ladder up to my waist, and the water is passing by, and you could see that I'm doing a manly thing, because I'm a man, real man, not that simp-ass, fake-ass, simp-ass man that gets on his hands and knees and begs a woman to take all his money. But anyway, with that, we come across Brad and Wing's balloon, and we pull up about 10 meters away from the balloon, and we're heading into the wind, and we're just hanging back off the wind. And I decide I'm going to get on the boat. And I got up on the boat, and I put the camera on the deck. The boat is 25 feet, and it's got a 10-foot beam, which means it's 10 feet wide. And then on each side of the boat is benches to sit on. That's where you dive gear, you put your dive gear and stuff. So I put the camera on the bench facing me, facing up towards me, so that when I'm climbing on the boat, you could see me climb over what they call the gun rail, the gunnel, not gun rail, the gunnel. And while I'm climbing up, the bottom of my shorts, they opened up. And I got to tell you, I'm glad I checked that video before I posted it. And I'm going, oh my God. If I'd have left that video up the way it was, I might have got a strike, but I certainly would have got a lot of requests for the next, within, I'm sure that I would have got quite a few dating requests. They might even pay for my dinner, because I got to tell you, the exposure was large, and it didn't end. It just got cut off by a different part of the shorts. Very impressive, I might say so myself. So, Mophead with his e-begging would have never even compared to what I had to blur out. I had to cut the best part out. And what was the best part? That's right, baby. It's what makes you a man. Pair of itlogs. The boys. It's what makes men men. Not eunuchs. Not e-begging for wives. Not e-begging for money. So when I say today you should test out your credit card, I'm only doing so to help you know that if you get into a bind or a serious predicament, your credit card will work when it's necessary for it to work. And it worked. My help, my theory to help you make sure your credit card works, worked out good for me. I think it was about $285 today in Super Chat and some stupid amount of money on Patreon. Thank you, Princess Anne. Warren Hunt. Princess Anne, thanks for coming back. The trolls say we are getting married. Do you remember that? Flying Circus. Hello, Flying Circus. He's back also. MGTOW All Life. I'm still here. Happy birthday, Michael. Thank you, MGTOW All Life. I apologize for not getting into the comments. Just Andrew Steinmetz. Andrew, my friend. Welcome, Andrew. If you're still here, hopefully you're still here. Thank you very much for stopping by. Andrew's been my friend for, well, I would say certainly upwards of about 4 years, but he's been watching me for much longer than that. But we've been friends on Skype for several hours a month sometimes for the last 4 years. Thank you for stopping by. He might get a Filipina with some extra cash. Or is that cake? I can't see what that is. Extra bone. Extra hot dog bone? I don't know. He might need it. Because with the bullshit that guy puts on YouTube, the hate, the visceral, the vitriol, the hate, you might think that he is, maybe he is lacking, let's say lacking in some parts of his mental acuity, or even possibly physiologically, he might be lacking. He might not, but we don't. No real man. There was not a man. I got to tell you this. No man, no real man will ever, under any circumstances, beg for a wife. That is just plain stupid. That is just plain stupid. That's a weakness. And they see that weakness and they'll take advantage of it. And if you don't think that a Filipina or an American or a German or a Russian or an Italian or a Spanish woman will not see the weakness of a man begging for a wife to have children with, if you don't think that you'll see that, these women have had years and years and years of nothing but conversations of how to manipulate a situation, especially when it comes to men. Go into a store. I did videos on this years ago. My some of the videos are called, I won't tell you the name. They're on Patreon. But anyway, I'm not going to tell you this. It's a pretty manly name, I got to tell you that. So you go into, you remember how in drugstores and candy stores they used to have a magazine rack? Go and look at the magazine rack. I did. In the 1980s or 1990s, I don't buy magazines, just a waste of money. But one magazine is called GQ. It's about how to be well dressed. Well, I always dressed like an indigent slob, so no one would know whether or not I had money. And there was another man's magazine called Popular Science. Those were the two magazines. But there were 200 women magazines, Cosmopolitan, Women's Fashion Journal, Makeup this, Fingernail that, Toenail this. Hundreds of magazines, and open up every woman's magazine. What do you see? What do you see? What do you see? Somebody got to tell me what they see when they open up all these women's magazines. Let me tell you what you see. You see how to make your man think that he needs to buy you a new car. They are trained from birth with these 200 magazines. How to make your man think it was his idea to buy you a bigger diamond ring for your engagement ring. How to make a man think it was his idea to buy you a new outfit. When you have 50 outfits that are perfectly groomed and, preserved in your closet, but you're going out to your friend's house and they saw one of your 50 beautiful outfits and pairs of shoes. So you don't remember which one they saw. So, honey, don't you think I should have a new outfit so I can impress those people? Just give me $300. What do you think it costs to clothe a woman, even in the Philippines? You simp. I walked into a, I'll tell you, I left the woman in the store, but I'll tell you what you're getting into by getting on your hands and knees and begging for a woman. You don't know the damn thing. All these women are groomed from birth. In every country, in every venue, in every language, it's the same thing. 2 men's magazines, How to Be Well Dressed and Science, Popular Science. The rest, 200 videos, all women's magazines, How to Manipulate Your Man to make them think they want to take you on vacation. How to make them feel sorry that they were late for dinner, even though they're out busting their ass so you can have that new dress. Okay, so I went in the Philippines in 2014. I dated an absolutely gorgeous woman, and she was gorgeous. She didn't speak a word of English, though. She could text a little bit, and that's it. How did I meet her? I'm on the jeepney, and an older woman, about my age, said, that girl likes you. And I looked at her. I said, she's a little young for me, don't you think? She goes, no, she's 19. And the girl turned out to be 20. So I said, yeah, she's too young for me, even at 19. So that was maybe at the beginning of the trip. Then the woman said something to the girl. And the girl wrote something on a piece of paper. It was her telephone number. I didn't ask her for a number. She's too young. Anyway, she asked me in return for my phone number. So I gave it to her and stuck that number in my pocket, and I never called her or texted her. And then she texted me, when will we see each other? It turns out she lived not far away from me. So I said, I don't know, maybe next week. It wasn't something that was on my mind. She was 20 years old. It was not something I wanted to do. Okay, so we get together. So I take her out for lunch, and she communicates to me she wants to go back to the city because she said she lived in the city. She had to take a jeepney to the city. This is what you're going to get here. Don't think you're going to get anything different. So she wants to go back to the city and get the jeepney by the vegetable market by the ICM mall. And she wants me to give her 500 pesos for foods for her family. Now, I just took her out to lunch, and I met her. Turns out she lived like 2 blocks from where I live, but she wanted to go to the city to catch a jeepney to go see her family to give them food. So I said, well, I have to go to the vegetable market. I'll go to the ICM with you, and then we'll get some vegetables for your family. So I get into ICM, and there's a store that's still there, on sale, blouses, 1,000 pesos, 300 pesos, not 1,000. And she says, she points like a sign language. You buy me a blouse? So I thought about it for a minute, and I said, yeah, okay, if you want a blouse. And they were only 300 pesos, which was about $7 at the time. Hey, Simp, listen to this. Wake up, mophead. This is for you. You should be paying attention. You should send me money for the advice I'm about to give you. So the 300 peso blouse, she doesn't pick that one out. She looks at those, but the girl, this is how it is in the Philippines. The sales girl brings over 1,200, 1,300, 1,500 peso blouses. And she walks out. I'm outside the store. I'm not going to watch this shit. And I'm going to leave when she puts all that stuff on the counter. Anyway, just for good measure, because I'm not a simp. So she shows me the blouse, and I give her the thumbs up. And the girl, the sales girl, she is going to bring out the most expensive shit in the store now. All told, it was 4,000 pesos for the blouse and the dress, but they had shoes. And the shoes themselves were 1,500 pesos for this little gilded strap piece of garbage shoe, 1,500 pesos. Probably cost China about 10 cents to get them into the Philippines and put them on the shelf. So she wants those too. So now we're up to 5,500 pesos. I just met the girl. I took her out for lunch, and I'm going to buy her vegetables. Well, she says to me, okay, like that. And the sales girl is smiling at me and giving me the thumbs up like it's a good thing that you bought this for this girl. I knew her for an hour and a half. And I said, that's good. And I walked out of the store and left. This is what you have here. This is any time any single woman is anywhere and she's single, somebody's going to say, she's single. She's for you. And everybody's going to agree. Why? Because they want you to buy her something. That's what it's like living here. I'm not lying to you. This is the way it is. I met a girl on the jeepney about a month ago, maybe 2 months back. Warren saw the video. I talked to her. We exchanged numbers because I made a video on the jeepney that I never posted on YouTube. And she gets off the jeepney and she comes into the vegetable market with me and she asks me if she can buy potatoes and with some kind of vegetable. Not Oppo. Maybe. I forgot the vegetable that she bought. Anyway, she rings up a bill for 400 pesos. I don't care. I was going to date her because on the jeepney I asked her if she had any children. She said no. Well, I pay for that. And then I go to another store. I don't know the girl now. I only just met her on the jeepney. And we didn't even talk on the jeepney. I just exchanged numbers at the last few minutes. This is what you're going to get here. So she comes to the next store. I said, don't you have to go? No, I'll stay with you for a while. So when we went to the next store, I bought my vegetables. At the first store, I bought pineapple. The second store, I bought my vegetables. And we're about 500 pesos. She goes, can I get some vegetables? I said, you have enough. I don't even know you. You have enough. 400 pesos for somebody you don't know? That's enough. She would have spent 1,000 pesos. Anyway, we get outside and she's walking. I said, let's sit down over here. She goes, no, I'm going to go. I said, okay. And I says, so we're not going to see each other? No, I don't know. Maybe next week. But before we went into the store, we're going to see each other this weekend. We're going to go swimming. We're going to do this. So I said, so let me ask you a question. Do you have any children? Oh, yeah. But they live with my mother. That's why I said I don't have children. So did she have children? Yeah, she had children. You could tell by just the way the body was shaped. She had more than one child. Well, she was a full, voluptuous woman. Not fat, but voluptuous. But this is what you get. When they want something, they have no children because they know that's the right answer. They get what they want. You cut them down on the second want, what they want, and then they want to leave right away. But begging, simping out for a woman on YouTube, on your hands and knees, mophead, get ready for the ride of your life. And I'm not talking about Jim Morrison's backdoor man type of ride. I'm not talking about that kind of ride. I'm talking about beautiful women of the world in every country have been trained how to manipulate you, and you just fell right into the manipulation tactic of every beautiful woman in the world. Maybe they won't do it, 1 in 1,000, but the other 999, they love you for your money. At your age, at my age, anybody at our age that's just meeting a woman, that the woman falls madly in love with them. Yeah, okay. I believe they love me. In my case, it'd be a lot more possible to love me than you if they watched your videos, no normal woman would ever go out with you. Whereas every woman I've ever gone out with was a normal woman. Because in real life, I have hobbies, I have things that I do, I have real friends in the Philippines, and I have a history of doing amazing things. Whereas your history is nothing but bullshit vlogs on YouTube. So, Mophead, get ready to get bent over the coals. Warren H. Warren H is getting married to Princess Anne. Not. Sorry, I missed the shout out. Jack Thompson, big $150+ from Jack Thompson in the last show. Thank you. Newsflash, the Mophead is actually me. Jack Thompson got a Mophead. And talking about Mopheads, Digger has something to say to you, Mophead, in a few minutes. Flying Circus, hope you're well, sir. From Warren H. to Flying Circus. The Mophead is the Gerber baby, says Flying Circus. I am, Warren. I'm well. Jack Thompson. He cracks me up, I must admit. Jack Thompson said he was the Mophead's #1 fan. Dean Koch is here. So what? He bought you a house. I don't know what that means. Page High. He's right. I think he's talking about me. I don't know what Dean Koch. I know who Dean Koch is. Not. Let's see. We'll go one more message from Dean. Oh, I don't know. Dean Koch. Let's see. One more. Let's read it. No, you can't say that. You can't say that. Dean, you're right. But you can't say that to a Filipino. It wouldn't be right to tell her to F off because you don't understand what it's like. Dean, I know that you've been here before, but you don't understand what it's actually like living here. You can piss off the lowest man on the totem pole on a job, the man who does every grunt job on the job. And you piss that guy off for some reason. The whole crew hates you. The whole crew. You do not understand what it's like, the real reality of what is called the tribe mentality in the Philippines. We think we know when we get here from what we see, but the tribe mentality is alive and well in the Philippines, Dean. You can't tell somebody to F off. You can't do that. I was told when I moved here about the tribe mentality, and this is how it was explained to me. When you marry a Filipina or get involved with a Filipina and or Filipino as a friend in a relationship, like your buddies, your drinking buddies. I don't drink, but if you get involved with people here, you can never piss off a Filipino or a Filipina. So you're married to a Filipina and the brother has an argument with you, and the brother is an alcoholic. Let's just say, theoretically, the brother's an alcoholic. And you have an argument with the brother, the entire family, and you say something the brother doesn't like, the whole entire family, everybody in the family is going to stick up for the brother. But let's expand that to a job site. So when I moved into the first building I moved into, there were, working for the landlord, there were about 13 people working for the landlord. And one of them did something really stupid. And he did it on purpose. And I went upstairs to talk to him about that. And he realized that what he did was really stupid. And there wasn't a man on the crew that liked this guy. Not one. But because I had a conversation with him, and because he was out of reach, he jumped up on top of a beambox and then threw the ladder down. Because I had a conversation with him, everybody on the crew that was, some of them were my friend for like as much as a year to 2 years or 3 years. Everybody on the crew stopped talking to me, even though nobody liked this man. Nobody. Not even his son liked that man. His son despised him more than any other man on the crew. And his son defended me when the man did something he shouldn't have did. He was the only one that defended me. The owner of the building did not defend me, because the owner knows that if you piss off just one of the construction crew, all of them will either do a slowdown or not show up for a week. You cannot piss any Filipina or Filipino off. So, Dean, you saying tell her to go F herself or F off, if she knows people where you live, even they don't know who she is. If she tells them people that you're a bad man, they won't talk to you anymore. So this is what was explained to me about the tribe mentality in the Philippines. You cannot piss off a Filipino or a Filipina. In fact, if you do, you're not going to make any friends. I can vouch for this. I can vouch for this. One time, I won't tell you that story. Anyway, so they tried to take advantage of me, and I would not allow that. And I will tell you that when I first moved to the Philippines, there were 30 or 40 fishermen on the beach right behind the Blue Water Resort. That's where I lived, right there. And there were 30 or 40 fishermen that all said hello to me. All of them, everyone, every day. I brought them out pineapple or spaghetti with sauce and candy, every day cigarettes, sometimes rum. And I rented the dive boat from the guy, Dong Dong, another Dong Dong. There are a lot of people here named Dong Dong, Don Don or Dong Dong. It's hard. A lot of people named that. Anyway, with the boat to go to Balakasog, he had a 10-foot paddle boat, and he had like a 6-passenger pump boat. And when I went to I was bringing 2 women with me. So when I went, and that's up Virgin Islands with the 2 beautiful women. They were just people I met on the internet. I made a deal. I'll take you out snorkeling, and you make YouTube videos with me. They said, okay. We had a great breakfast. They stayed over the house the night before. We got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We had sunrise on the beach, breakfast before sunrise. Don, I said, you bring that 10-foot paddle boat with us. Okay, because that would save us about, it was 250 pesos per person. It would have saved 750 pesos. But when we went turtle watching, we could have stayed there all day just moving around on the paddle boat. But he didn't bring the boat. And I said, where are you going? There's no boat. And he don't answer me. The boat is back there. No boat. But the day before, we agreed he was going to take the boat. And that boat didn't have any. No, the boat is no good. The boat is no good. So basically, first thing off the dock, he screws me. That's going to cost me an additional 750 pesos to go turtle and to go around the island. Even though I knew this guy for 4 months? Every day, foods, cigarettes, candy, rum, sometimes a pair of flip-flops or old sneakers that I had. This guy screws me after he knows me for several months, and I give every day pasalubong free. Bananas, apples, pears. This is when I first got here. I didn't know any better. I thought you were going to make friends here. That's not possible. Not easy. So we get out to the dive to Balakasog Island, and the guy on the boat tells me $250 per person. And I said, I don't want to do that. We'll just go in the water. So he goes, okay, $150. So he brought it down to $150 because I said, the captain, Dong Dong, talked to him. I was already pissed at Dong Dong. He knew that. And the captain talked to him, brings it down to 150 a person. That's 450 pesos. So that was about $12. It wasn't the idea. It was the idea that Dong Dong screwed me after all I did for Dong Dong. You don't understand. Doesn't matter what you give here. You have not given enough. Let's just put it like that. So I go on the boat with the guy and the two girls, 450, right? And we saw a turtle, several turtles, and we went around the island, Balakasog Island, about 45 minutes. And I get back, and the guy tells me 500. I said, 500 for what? He says, you said 450. Yeah, 500. He tells me, like, he's not arguing with me. He's telling me he wants 500. I said, get somebody here that speaks English, because they'll make believe they don't speak English. So they just 500. So you can't argue with them. So I give him $450. He goes, 500. I said, no, I'm not giving you 500. Get somebody here that speaks English. So one of the other captains was on our boat. I said, you speak English, right? Because I knew the guy. He goes, yeah. Tell him that we agreed on 450. Then he goes, well, he wants 50 pesos for some other bullshit reason. So I says, he's not getting it. Next. And that was it. So, but everybody was mad at me. Dong Dong was mad at me. The first mate was mad at me. Now, maybe, I don't know why, and I don't care, but making agreements with people in the Philippines, you got to be careful. So this guy, Mophead, getting on his knees and begging for a future ex-wife that's going to take him to the cleaners. You don't know enough about the Philippines to come to the Philippines. Certainly, you praise these worthless female channels. You praise them. Oh, yeah. So if you know a woman that would be good for me when I get to the... What do you think they're going to introduce you to? You're going to meet another Filipina blogger? You are going to compete with what they're getting offered? You, Mophead, you're going to compete? You don't have what it takes to compete. I don't have what it takes to compete. Okay, first of all, we're old. Okay, we're old. You might be in shape. You said you walk 20 kilometers a week. I might be in shape, but we're still old. Tigawan, baby. Tigawan means old in Visaya, number one. Number two, we don't have near the sexual appetite to satisfy a young, beautiful woman, if that's her forte, number two. But we have enough money to satiate them, maybe. But you begging, and a woman on a Filipino blogging channel, do you understand what goes on behind the scenes with a woman that has a blogging channel? There are hundreds, thousands possibly of men offering that woman that you're talking to about getting married money for conversation, for maybe real communication on the phone, maybe a Skype call, all legitimate stuff. But there are hundreds of people, possibly thousands of people, offering that woman money to talk to them. Just talk to them, just to have a beautiful Filipina talk to them. Where do you think they get all this money from to buy new clothes and new shoes and jewelry? Do you think a Filipina can go out? Yeah, let me show you something. You see this? See this rubber band here? See that rubber band? Okay. It's just a little bit, like something like 14 inches goes around their neck, right? The finest, thinnest gold piece of garbage jewelry that you're ever going to see is that'll go around a woman's neck is somewhere between 15 and 24,000 pesos. With a charm, 30,000 pesos. They take you over the coals here. Where do you think a woman gets a big, beautiful necklace and several charms and a ring? Where do you think they get that from? Do you think a Filipina making 200 pesos a day, 250 pesos a day, can go out and afford to buy beautiful jewelry? They can't afford that. And then you go to their channel and you praise them because they're so beautiful and they have nice clothes. Where do you think they got those clothes from? Not a Yuki store. That ain't happening. Sometimes you could get a deal in a Yuki store, which is used clothes, but most of the times that stuff is brand new off the rack. And for a shirt for me here with a collar on it, you're looking at it $36. For their blouses, they don't care what they pay for it. They're not buying it. But $36 is the equivalent of 2,000 pesos. That's a week's pay for a woman that works in a store. And you think that they got all of these blouses and beautiful makeup and earrings and necklaces? You think they got that shit from working for it? Ain't going to happen. No Filipina that's working for a living is going to have jewelry and beautiful clothes. They'll have a clean uniform. They'll always be clean on their person. Their nails will always be well groomed, their toenails, but they're not going out and spending 3,000 pesos on a blouse and a skirt and 30,000 pesos on jewelry. Some schmuck like you, mophead, bought the woman those clothes, that jewelry, those shoes, those rings, those necklaces. And talking about necklaces, Digger says he's got a load of pearl drops waiting to put on your neck to get rid of that neck wrinkle. Digger says he's got these special pearl drops he wants to drop on your neck to get rid of that neck wrinkle that you got because you're a little overweight. And he said that if you take these pearl drops and rub them onto your neck, like what looks like a pearl necklace, and then you just wipe it on there, it'll take that wrinkle off that neck of yours. And we're going to go back to the comments. And let's see who's here. And let's see. I think LaRue Segrest is here. The Philippines Experience. Gary, happy birthday. Gary Kennedy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gary Kennedy. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to Gary Kennedy. Salamat. Thank you for stopping by, Gary. Gary says I'm 100% correct. LaRue Segrest is in the house. My friend and the religious anchor on our channel, LaRue Segrest, has they both have channels that are well worth going to. Gary is an extremely smart man. And when I say smart, I'm talking about he's an overachiever when it comes to being smart. He sees things that nobody else sees in the way of mental acuity and physicalities. Gary is one smart dude. Actually, he's probably two smart dudes. Gary and Kennedy are both first names. So he's two smart dudes. Thank you for stopping by on your birthday. My God. And Paige High says, Fazio is dead right, baby. Thank you, Paige High. You just have no idea what it's like living here. And this guy, Mophead, you haven't been, I don't know when you've been back. I won't make assumptions like that. You need to get your shit together. If you think you're going to come here and beg for a woman to marry you, you're not going to get what you think you're going to get. And LaRue Segrest has a channel. She's our religious anchor. And she's a very, and I'm not being facetious, she's a very religious woman. And if you're religious and you want to talk about God and or Jesus and the Bible, LaRue Segrest would be the channel to subscribe to. That's right, Gary. Gary is right. Let me get down to that. Do I ever get a hankering for lobster? Yes, D. Grinch. I do. And I have looked for lobsters. Okay, so I went wall diving 2 days ago in Alona Beach, and I did not see a single, what we would have crawfish here without the claws, not one. Now, I don't know where they are, but you can see them in the market, but they're very expensive. But yeah, being that I used to have them every day. And talking about lobsters, I'm going to do what I do best. I'm going to drink this entire bottle of water, which you can see there's a little air bubble over here, right here. That's the air bubble. Look, see? And I'm going to drink this bottle of water without stopping because real men don't sip water. They don't make fun of Steve Montelli, who does sip water, but Steve has the what we would call the copyright on sipping water. He's the first sipper. So he's the big sipper. He's the first sipper, which is different than the simp, who's known as MOP. That's different. Sipper and simper, two different things. So we're going to show you how real men drink water. Here's the air bubble. We're going to do a real man trick, not spill any, not waste any. And here we go. See, there's the water. Watch. I'll drink the whole bottle. I'm not some simp ass sipper. Here, you want to see what a simp ass simper looks like? Look, he's got the little bippy. He's a sipper. And sometimes he's a simp. Sometimes a very smart man. But sometimes not. So here we go. Ready? Okay, so here we have an empty bottle, except for a few drops. Not even a few drops. There's one, two. Okay, that's what real men do. Real men drink the whole bottle. They don't sip. Real men are not sippers, and they're not simps. And any of you people that think that I was kidding about what I said about the women in the Philippines, eventually, if you work hard enough and you don't choose a woman that's on social media, and you don't choose a woman that has her own vlogs, and you don't choose a city woman, you might just find a good woman. And then the thing that you should not do is don't put that good woman on YouTube. That's a mistake. Don't look for a woman on YouTube. Don't look for a woman blogger. You're an idiot if you do. Now, let's get through the comments. Yeah, I miss lobster. I used to have lobsters every day. Even though they weren't in season every day, they were under my dock every day. And they used to ask me, please take me to dinner. Oh, we see Super Chat from Gary Kennedy. Salamat. Let's say we'll sing Gary Kennedy again. Gary Kennedy took the time on our birthday, which is a valuable day. So we have Gary Kennedy hitting me hard multiple times in the past and today with Super Chat. Hard is anything more than $1. Okay? Gary has been more than generous to me on multiple occasions in multiple different ways. So let's say happy birthday to Gary. Happy birthday to Gary Kennedy. Happy birthday to Gary Kennedy. Happy birthday to you. So I'm out, Gary. And actually, I had somebody devote a video. If I did go diving on my 65th birthday because that's what real men do. Real men do real things on their birthday. None of that sissy-ass cake party where every mooch on the block comes to your house for free donuts and cupcakes. Man, that was sickening. That was freaking sickening. To watch a dozen people during the course of a day that you don't know well, and they came over for the free food. And that's okay that they did that. But if you're going to be a real man, do something real on your birthday. Don't sit there and eat freaking chocolate cake with chocolate icing and sugar on top. It's all poison, that crap. And you think that's manly? Oh, boo, everybody, it's my birthday. You sing me happy birthday. Oh, my God. And that disgusting display that you put on at the end of that birthday live stream. Oh, my God, that made everybody on YouTube laugh. That was funny shit. We thank you for that. Never give money to beggars. They will use it for something else. That's true. You don't have to give me money. Just give me the credit card number and the security code off the back of your credit card. I'll take care of that money for you. Dean Koch, tell her to F you. That's where this started. Fazio was dead right, says Page High. Michael is 100% correct, says Philippines Experience. Gulai was the veggie she wanted, Warren Hunt, with the eggplant. The eggplant gulai. Philippines Experience says, hopefully Mophead will get a real haircut. Oh, we got super chat in the name of Mophead. Salamat, Mophead.